All right, gang, we're going to go ahead and take a look at 2-2 review, and I'm not going to do too many of the problems for you. I just want to hit the high points from section 2.2. So let's actually get right into this here. You're going to write out the new statements here for numbers 1, 2, and 3 based on this, and you're going to use either the word and or the word or, okay? And remember, if a statement is going to be true with the word and in it, both parts have to be true. Both P and Q would have to be true, okay? If a statement with the word or in it is going to be true, either P or Q has to be true, okay? And both have to be true, or one or the other has to be true in order to be true. Don't forget that this little squiggle mark right here is the negative form, okay? So right now, today is Wednesday. The negative form would be today is not Wednesday, the negative form, okay? Taking a look down at this next part right here, and maybe I'll click on this to make it better, okay. We're going to change these into the if-then format, okay? Remember when we did this before? Wherever the pause was, that's where the transition from the hypothesis to the conclusion comes. So those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And so as I think about it, right here is the break, okay? So I'm going to say something like this. If you don't remember the past, then you are condemned to repeat it, okay? So again, when we state a conditional statement, an if-then statement, wherever there's a pause, I like to go ahead and put a slash in, and that's where I'm going to transition from the hypothesis to the conclusion, okay? The next part, determine the truth value of each conditional. If true, explain your reasoning. If false, give a counterexample, okay? So number 6 says, if A and B are negative, then A plus B is also negative, all right? So if I was to test this, I would assign A a negative value and B a negative value, and then plug it in here and see if this was a true statement, okay? Again, with any conditional statement, if you have only one false situation, the statement is false, okay? Again, I'll repeat that. If you can find one counterexample, one false situation for that statement, then we know it's going to be a false statement, okay? Rewrite each statement as a biconditional statement. Okay, now remember what a biconditional statement is. It is a statement that can be written as a conditional and the converse, and both are true. Okay, so whenever we have a conditional and a converse and both are true, this is a biconditional statement. Then tell if the biconditional is true or false. So if I want to write a biconditional statement, don't forget the linking phrase is if and only if. Okay, so an example, number 8, if two triangles have equivalent angle measures, then they are congruent. Okay, so if two triangles have equivalent angle measures, then they are congruent. So the biconditional would be this: two triangles have equivalent angle measures if and only if they are congruent. Okay, I'm actually going to work this one out because I'm going to show you something here. So two triangles have equivalent angle measures if and only if they are congruent. Okay? So the only time that the triangles will have congruent or equivalent angle measures, congruent angles, is when they're congruent themselves, okay? And this is going to be a false statement, okay? And I'm going to write something down that we're going to study later on this year. I'll explain it right now. Similar triangles, okay? What I mean by that is this. Let's say that I have an equiangular triangle, which means that all these angles are 60 degrees, okay? I can go ahead and draw another triangle that would be smaller, and all the angles are also 60 degrees, okay? So the angles here and here are both the same measure, but obviously the figures aren't congruent themselves, and these are called similar triangles. They proportionally grow or proportionally decrease to be their new sizes, okay? So again, that would be a false statement right there. All right, moving on to the next page here. Now again, this is very spread out. Not a lot of problems, just very spread out. Let's see here. You'll have another one to turn into a biconditional right here. Older campers who attend Woodland Camp Falls are expected to work, right? The conditional. So you're going to change this to a conditional, okay? And then write the converse of the conditional, okay? This one right here, this one's a little tricky. I'll be interested to see what you guys come up with for number 11 here. Again, we're going to write another conditional statement. All right, this is what I wanted to go with this next part, okay? When I look at number 13 here, folks, it's talking about the conditional, the converse, the inverse, and the contrapositive. So if I was to go ahead and highlight this, it says, Tim is waiting to board an airplane. Over the speaker, she hears. I think that's supposed to be a he. He hears a flight attendant say, if you are seated in rows 10 to 20, you may load now. What is the inverse, converse, and contrapositive of this statement? Okay. So remember, the hypothesis, a lot of times if we use symbols for these, is the P. And the conclusion is the Q. Okay? So the converse down here, so the conditional, if I was to jot this down, I'll just put it up here. The conditional is this, P implies Q. Hypothesis leads to conclusion. Okay? The converse is to switch those two. Okay? The inverse is the negative of the conditional. And the contrapositive is the negative of the converse. Okay? So in total, you're going to have to just apply those statements, how we would put those together right there. Okay? Not too difficult. All right? Number 14 is kind of a tricky problem here. I'll be interested to see how you guys come out on that, see what you think. And then down here, again in number 15, we're back to inverse, converse, and contrapositive. We just don't want to forget how we set those up, the formatting for those type of statements there. So I know that was quick, short, and sweet. All right. I hope that made sense. Again, if anything didn't, please come back and talk to me. But have this due for the next day in class. Anyways, have a great day, folks. We'll talk to you later.